In Part 2 of the 3x in 10 webinar series, you will learn about the 6 key numbers required of a high-quality 3x in 10 revenue-sharing investment offer. As you know from reading Gender Wealth Strategy, 3x in 10 is built on a model of revenue-based crowdfund investing. This model enables business owners and entrepreneurs to stay in control of their organizations by making a high-quality offer to investors on a crowdfund investment platform. It also enables investors to avoid a biased and broken system that only focuses on short-term profit and fails to put the needs of women and he-for-she advocates first. This slide shows the 6 key numbers required of a high-quality 3x in 10 revenue-sharing offer. We'll provide a brief introduction to each in this video. You'll see these numbers again in Part 4 of this webinar series when we go over the 3x in 10 calculators. Investment multiple is the first key number of a high-quality revenue-sharing offer. It refers to the number of times that capital from investors is expected to multiply over an investment time frame. In our 3x in 10 model, the investment multiple is 3 times, or 3x. The investment multiple also serves as the revenue-sharing cap. This means an enterprise will never pay back more than 3 times the capital raised from women and he-for-she investors on a crowdfund investment platform. Investment period is the second number, which in our 3x in 10 model is 10 years. The 10-year time period is critical for 2 reasons. First, enterprises need every one of those years to build and grow an enduring, profitable, and sustainable enterprise. Second, the time period, along with the projected average annual revenue growth rate, enables patient and mission-aligned investors to calculate the potential rate of return for a revenue-based investment. If the investment time period is missing from a revenue-sharing offer, then it's very hard to determine a potential rate of return. This lowers the quality of a revenue-sharing offer and raises questions about the capability of an enterprise to deliver sustainable results. The current revenue base is the starting point of a winning 3x in 10 offer. Enterprises use estimated net revenue for the current year as the starting point. This is the amount of sales revenue after deductions for returns, allowances, or discounts. You'll find this information in the financial statements of enterprises we help to get ready for investment with our Business Impact Accelerator program and platform. Module 3 of Business Impact Accelerator is where entrepreneurial teams start to determine the amount of revenue-based growth capital they can safely afford to raise from women and he-for-she investors. Growth capital is different than operating revenue and focuses on the investments that need to be made to build a stronger, more sustainable enterprise. We recommend enterprises start with 25% of net revenue as the amount of growth capital to raise in a 3x in 10 revenue-sharing offer. Of course, this varies from enterprise to enterprise, depending on the rate of revenue growth and percentage of revenue to be shared. Investors buy a prorated share of the overall growth capital amount. For example, in the 3x in 10 piggy bank video, we showed the financial return that Adriana would receive from her initial investment of $5,000 in a hypothetical enterprise named Healthy Workplaces, LLC. Adriana's investment represents 2% of the overall growth capital amount. That is, $5,000 divided by the $250,000 growth capital amount equals 2%. This means Adriana will receive 2% of the revenue-sharing payments made by Healthy Workplaces each and every quarter, as long as revenue continues to be generated. This fifth number is very important. We recommend a safe starting point of 5 to 10% revenue growth per year over the 10-year investment period. We also recommend entrepreneurial teams be careful about the annual growth rate and adopt a strategy of under-promising and over-delivering. The only, quote, downside for doing this is that investors will exit quicker with a higher rate of return. And if that happens, we won't see much of a downside for investors or enterprises. Finally, you need to determine the revenue sharing percentage, typically 1 to 10% of net revenue, payable quarterly on a prorated basis to each investor. This information is typically found in the revenue sharing offering disclosures and legal documents that support a valid capital raising campaign. These are must-have documents required by the Securities and Exchange Commission, and if you can't find them, this should raise a serious question in your mind about the integrity of the enterprise seeking your funding support. In Part 3 of this webinar series, we'll look at 5 key measures used by investors to determine an investment's potential rate of return. However, we recommend you first take a break and give your brain a little rest before proceeding. Go back through Parts 1 and 2 slowly and make sure you understand all of the concepts before moving ahead with the 3X in 10 webinar series. You're learning about a new way of financing growth and making sustainable investments, so give your brain a chance to integrate this information. Your brain will thank you.